What unfolds when a once mighty lion, forgotten by time, stumbles into a deadly hunter's trap with no escape? Weakened by hunger and age, the old king fights against the harsh walls of the pit, his life hanging by a fragile thread, until a single, unexpected act of bravery turns the tide. Prepare to witness a gripping struggle for survival that will take your breath away. In the vast golden plains of the Serrano Savannah, a lion once ruled like no other. He was known as Kale, a name that echoed through the wind like a distant roar. With a mane as dark as the night and a scar carved in his forehead from a legendary battle with a rogue buffalo, he was a symbol of power and pride. For years, he stood atop the highest rocks, his roar shaking the land and sending wildebeests fleeing in terror. Under his leadership, his pride thrived, hunting across the sprawling grasslands, unchallenged and untamed. But time is cruel, even to kings. As the seasons passed, Kale's once mighty body grew slower, his thick mane turned ragged, and his strength faded like the setting sun. The younger lions saw their chance, and in the brutal law of the wild, they challenged him. He fought valiantly, but could not keep up with the raw strength of youth. Defeated, he limped away, leaving behind the pride he had once protected. Kale wandered alone on the outskirts of the reserve, his body worn but his spirit unbroken. He scavenged for food, living off scraps and the kindness of a few farmers who had come to respect the legend he once was. Each morning, he stood at the edge of the savannah watching the sunrise, as if reminiscing about his golden days. But the dry season was unforgiving. Prey was scarce, and Kale's hunger gnawed at him with each passing day. His once powerful legs trembled as he searched for anything that could sustain him. Then one fateful evening, following the scent of a carcass left behind by the giants of the land, the elephants, Kale unknowingly walked toward a trap. The ground beneath him crumbled, a sudden violent betrayal of the familiar terrain. Before he could react, his massive frame plummeted into a deep pit, a hole crudely dug by poachers, a silent trap designed to ensnare unsuspecting animals. He landed with a painful thud, his old bones rattling against the hardened earth, sending sharp jolts of agony through his weary limbs. Dust filled the air, a choking cloud that stung his eyes and clogged his nostrils. As he let out a weak growl, a sound more of frustration than of fury. He tried to climb, his once powerful claws scraping against the unforgiving walls, leaving shallow, futile marks. But his aging body betrayed him. The muscles that had once propelled him through the savannah were now weak and unresponsive. There was no escape. The pit was too deep, the walls too steep. The night grew colder, the chill seeping into his bones, and hunger clawed at his stomach like a relentless beast, a gnawing reminder of his predicament. His breathing became labored, each inhale a struggle, his strength fading with each passing hour. The one great king of the Serrano Savannah, the apex predator whose roar had echoed across the plains, lay trapped, a shadow of his former self, waiting for fate to decide his end. The stars, indifferent and distant, glittered overhead, offering no solace, no hope. He closed his eyes, the weight of his past glories and the stark reality of his present despair pressing down on him like a heavy, suffocating blanket. The silence of the pit was broken only by shallow breaths and the distant, mocking calls of the nocturnal creatures, a cruel symphony to his demise. Dawn broke, painting the sky in hues of orange and red, a vibrant contrast to the stark desperation within the pit. Not far from where Kale lay, a group of farmers were tending to their livestock, their daily routine a rhythm of life in the savannah. One of them, a young man named Rafi, with eyes keen from years spent in the open, heard a faint sound carried by the wind, a low guttural growl, almost like a plea for help, a sound that stirred something deep within him. Curiosity piqued, he signaled to his companions, their faces etched with the familiar concern of those who lived alongside the wild. They cautiously approached the direction of the sound, their steps slow and measured, aware of the dangers that lurked in the untamed landscape. When they reached the pit, concealed by the tall golden grasses, their eyes widened in shock. There at the bottom lay the legendary lion of the Serrano Savannah, trapped, weak, his once majestic mane matted with dust, but still holding on to his dignity, a silent testament to his former glory. Fear and respect battled within them, a complex mix of emotions that mirrored the relationship between man and nature. Kale was still a lion, a predator, a creature of raw power, but he was also an icon of their land, a symbol of the wild spirit that defined their home. Rafi, his heart pounding in his chest, knowing the risks that lay before them, made a decision. "We have to help him," he declared, his voice firm, breaking the tense silence. With ropes and wooden planks, tools of their trade, they devised a makeshift plan, an act of compassion in the face of fear. Two of them, their hands trembling slightly, distracted the lion by tossing down small pieces of meat, a calculated offering, while Rafi, his brow furrowed in concentration, carefully lowered a plank into the pit, hoping Kale would understand their intent, their gesture of aid. The lion, though wary, his eyes flickering with suspicion, was desperate. His instinct for survival overrode his caution. Summoning his last reserves of strength, he clawed his way up the slab board, each step a battle against exhaustion, a testament to his indomitable will. With a final, desperate push, he reached the top, collapsing onto the dry grass, his massive frame shaking with the effort. The farmers quickly backed away, their hearts pounding like drums, expecting him to retaliate, to unleash the fury of a trapped king. But Kale did not. He simply lay there, panting, his chest heaving, his eyes heavy with fatigue, a silent acknowledgement of their unexpected kindness. Realizing Kale needed more help than they could provide, Rafi, his voice urgent, called the reserve authorities, relaying the extraordinary situation. Within minutes, the rumble of an all-terrain vehicle broke the morning stillness, carrying a conservationist named Malik. He had followed Kale's journey for years, documented his reign, and knew the lion's story well, a tale of strength and survival. Malik knelt beside the old king, his experienced eyes checking his condition, assessing the damage. "He's exhausted, dehydrated, but he still has fight in him," he assured the farmers, his voice filled with quiet admiration. With careful, practiced hands, he injected a revitalizing serum into Kale's muscle, providing the essential boost needed for recovery. A few moments later, he placed fresh meat nearby, understanding the lion's immediate need for nourishment. Kale sniffed the air, his nostrils twitching, then, with visible effort, dragged himself toward the food. He took a cautious bite, chewing slowly, savoring the sustenance. The farmers watched, astonished at how he still carried an air of majesty, a regal presence, even in his weakest state. Malik turned to them, his eyes reflecting the shared wonder. "You've saved a legend today," he said, his voice imbued with respect, a symbol of the savannah's enduring spirit. Over the next few days, the reserve team monitored Kale. They left food and water near his resting place, ensuring he had a chance to regain his strength. Slowly, he began moving again, weak but determined. One evening, as the sun cast long shadows across the plains, Kale stood on a small hill, gazing over the land he had once ruled. His body bore the marks of time, but in his eyes, there was still the fire of a warrior. He let out a low, rumbling growl, not as mighty as before, but still echoing with pride. The farmers kept their silent vigil from afar, while visitors spoke in hushed awe about the old lion who had defied death. He might no longer rule the plains, but to those who knew his journey, he remained a king. As night descended and the symphony of the savannah rose around him, Kale rested beneath the stars, finally at peace. Granted a second chance, the aging legend would walk the land of his ancestors a while longer, carrying with him the reverence of all who had borne witness to his struggle. Word of Kale's survival quickly spread, stirring hearts across the region. To some, it served as a powerful reminder of nature's delicate balance. To others, it stood as a symbol of the enduring bond between humans and the wild. And so, the legacy of the Savannah King lived on, not only in the soft murmurs of the wind, but in the enduring hearts of those who had reached out to save him. What do you think of this story? Let us know in the comments section. I hope you liked this story. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Also subscribe and press the bell icon to never miss the update from our channel. Thank you.